Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Galactic Driftwood. I'm Bill.
I'm Seth.
I'm Jenna.
I'm John.
And for our wonderful guest today, we have Benito Garcia, a local legend and special effects expert.
Thank you.
For this lovely After Dark episode, which we're going to discuss scary stories to tell in the dark and numerous other fun stuff.
This is water.
And you're a dirty
also
liar.
mine is too.
Yes.
You can't prove anything. No one can prove anything.
Before we start, I want to know why I didn't win the Ocon costume contest.
How dare you, sir?
Were you
What
the?
did you enter as?
You were the
Zoltan.
Zoltan.
I know. I didn't make the costume, so
Yeah,
it's
that had a lot to
it's
do with
big
it.
Deal, but
It was a wonderful year for cosplay, though.
Yeah.
And we,
It gets better every year.
as judges, we got paid off very well. So now you'll know.
Paid off or paid off. I mean,
Well, a lot of people go to
Right.
no.
incredible lengths
So
when they
anyone
design
who
those
may not know
costumes.
this, Benito has also been a cosplay contest judge for Ocon.
Mhm.
So
That was very fun.
excellent. You seem to enjoy it a lot, and
Yeah, we were supposed to do it last year too, but we wanted to have so many people come to our booth and do some makeup demos and some things that we just didn't want. When you do that, you're gone for a majority of the day being a judge. And so after I agreed to do the whole thing, I kind of backed out of the judging part and said, I'm realizing now that I'm going to have to be at the booth all day. So
Right.
it wasn't the day of. I gave him plenty of time to find someone else, but I just kind of
Right.
knew that it wasn't going to work for me to be away
It
from the
is a
booth.
very time-consuming thing.
Yeah, so.
what has been the best part about being a cosplay judge for you? Like, what do you enjoy most about that? Or is it like a lot of pressure because you know you're going to have to break some hearts?
No, in the beginning, I really thought that's what it was going to be and that's what was going to happen. I was extremely nervous about hurting people's feelings because I know how much time and how much effort they put into a cosplay. But I don't know. It's actually hearing somebody describe what they've done and their love and their passion for. That's really the most fun is when they get to come in and they get 5 minutes to describe, which is not a lot of time if
Yeah.
you've spent 2 years working on your cosplay.
Right.
and
But,
some of them have. Yeah.
Yeah, easily. We did have a couple come through that it's been a couple of years. And they document it through pictures and videos. And so we get to see step by step.
Now, other being a cosplay contest judge, would you tell us a little bit about what you've done and how long and where your passions are?
Wow.
Because,
There's a
I
lot
mean,
going on
obviously,
there.
I know
Lots
there
to
is.
unpack in that
Maybe
question.
I mean-
maybe we should actually show
This amazing book that you've
Yes.
written. Isn't it, I think it's safe to say, the first of its kind, really?
well it is
To this level?
it is when you're what am I trying to say? It is when it's specifically designed
You
for
would be
special
a great
effects.
hand model, Jenna.
Oh.
You really would. You just have the whole thing happening.
When it's designed for special effects, yes, it's the first of its kind. Because as a special effects artist, you're constantly looking for these images, but you're looking for them on the internet. And before the internet, you were digging through medical books and forensics books, and those things are super, super expensive. And not every library carries what you need. And so in the beginning, it was really tough, to do those things. And then the internet comes along, and you think it's going to be easier because now you have access to everything. But that's the problem: is you have access to everything. So if you and it happened to me a million times. That's why the book came out. Was if I was going to do a bullet hole, type in bullet hole injury, type in image. Well, then you get that, but then you get a million things that aren't that. That's just doing that word association, and scrolling through 99% of the things you didn't need, looking for that 1% you did.
So for the book you did, most of the images, did you find them on the internet, or where did you collect them all from?
That's a great question too. I'll tell you the easy part, or the first part. That's the easy answer. Photo warehouses.
Okay.
So they charge per image, and they're
Yeah.
very expensive. Some of them range from $50 to a picture to some of them are $250 to $300 for
Jesus.
one image.
So really quick, for the people who didn't get to, who are listening on audio, the book is titled Special Effects Guide of Real Human Wounds and Injuries by Benito Garcia, and you can find it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And anywhere else?
Yeah, any bookstore you go into, they'll order it for you. But the second part of that answer is really fun. When I first had the idea to make the book, I just reached out on Facebook, kind of just sort of a brief summary of what I wanted to do, and I said, hey, if anybody out there has really kind of gnarly wounds or injuries, and you want to share your story and the images, if you're willing to release the photos to me, I'll put them in the book, give you a special nod. And I actually said on my post, please send them to me in Messenger.
Oh.
Well, everybody ignored that part.
And started posting on your wall.
So
Oh,
you
God.
Wall, yeah, it was
Well.
gnarly. Gnarly. But what's cool is everybody's got one. Like, I'd get a
Yeah.
little scratch,
Yeah.
and then I just get the most gnarly, just crazy injury on the planet.
Wow.
And again, yeah, my Facebook page was just
Exploded.
completely full of
Yeah.
these horrible, rotten, grody, slimy, bloody images.
I mean,
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for most people that would be not safe for work, but
Yeah.
for you, that's exactly safe for work. This is what we're looking for.
My Messenger every day is very crazy.
Now, were there any
I should be
images?
red flagged for sure.
Yeah, were there any images that were so bad you wouldn't use them in the book?
Oh, not at all. No, just really the more violent.
Yeah.
Is that the word I'm looking for? More
Graphic?
graphic. That's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for. More graphic, the better.
Huh.
Really getting into the meat
Interesting.
and potatoes of the human body.
So how long have you been doing special effects work, and who's your inspiration, or was there a movie? What drove you
started,
down
yeah.
that road?
Those are all great questions. So, let's see. I've been doing special effects since I was 12 or 13
Nice.
years old.
Really?
Wow.
Right, and I'm 49 now, so whatever the math is.
Yeah.
Forever. Me and my brother, the best time of the year was Halloween.
Yeah.
Because you could get the stuff. If it's not Halloween, you can't get makeup and fake blood and all those things. So you have to make it yourself and figure out how to do it. But my brother and I, our favorite thing to do would be, we would make fake blood out of, and don't do this at home. It's a horrible idea. It was black cherry Kool-Aid.
Right now, people are looking for that.
Right? Black cherry Kool-Aid, Hershey's chocolate, the powder, mixed with a little water.
Oh, wow.
And it just makes this crazy, really dark, really good-looking blood. The problem is it stains
Sounds
everything.
tasty, too.
It stains everything.
I-
It stains
I-
your hands and your
Oh,
clothes and
no.
whatever it lands on.
So basically, your parents had to replace a lot of carpet.
It was a lot of things. And a lot of food because we would blow through all the stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'd splash blood all over ourselves, and then we'd wait till a car would come down the street. And we'd roll out into the middle of the street like we were fighting, kicking the crap out of each other.
That's awesome.
The idea was to get the car to stop.
Right,
As soon
right.
as the car would stop and they would get to get out of their car, we'd jump up and pick
That's brilliant.
we'd spend all day doing that. So fun.
That's amazing.
But yeah, and my idol at the time, and I didn't know it, because that leads back to the movie question. The movie was Day of the Dead, 1984.
Yeah.
And that really let me know, kind of charged me up that, hey, you can do this for a living. I didn't. That's awesome. And I started reading Fangoria about that same time. So then
Yeah.
I started to understand Dick Smith and, all the greats. But Tom Savini stuck out in my mind because of Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then I sort of idolized the guy from that point on. He actually wrote a section in the book.
Ooh,
So that was super cool.
fun.
And that's what I've appreciated for you, because I've loved horror movies. God, forever. I can't even remember my first horror movie. I know for a fact Tales from the Crypt.
Mhm.
Like watching that when I was real young with my mom after dark. Like that was the thing. And I loved Poltergeist. That was another
Such
early
a good
exposure.
one.
I mean, it really is. But watching you in your conferences on Facebook meet your heroes, and who are actually my heroes too for the work that they've done. I mean, American Werewolf in Paris or London.
London.
Sorry, London. We won't talk about Paris.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that second one.
I know, because the second one actually is a perfect example of people being too dependent on computer animation versus puppeteering. But American Werewolf in London, like the artistry of that, I was so excited for you.
Yeah, Rick Baker, just amazing.
So
So, yeah, Thanks. It's been a blast. I've really got to meet a lot of cool, fun people, and and everybody's they're just normal. They're just regular people. You start to find out as you get older, and you're able to contact these people and talk to them. They're just as jazzed about it as I am.
Yeah.
Like doing what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Basically nerds, but in their own way.
Exactly. Core nerds, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite project you've worked on?
Oh man, my favorite. It's kind of a two-part question. My favorite project I worked on that got the best response was one of my own projects, but I'll toot my horn in a minute. one of the other projects, I've had two that were features that were big budget, and they took a long time to shoot. One was Isabelle, which I think might be on Amazon right now. I think it might be under the Eyes of Isabelle. That took 4 years to shoot. And then the other one is a movie called Indoor, and that was shot here local too. But Isabelle took 4 years. They went through. There's the mass killer, and it's a girl. It's female. They went through four different actresses. And this was a deal where they didn't have all the money at once to shoot it, and so they just sort of spread it out. And people's hair length changes.
Oh God!
Sometimes they have 2 gauges, and then next time they've got some earrings here, and then they don't. And one girl had changed her hair color, so then she's wearing a wig. Pardon me.
Yeah.
So it sounds goofy, but the amount of blood and gore and just fun that we got to have just really made it a lot of fun. So gallons and gallons. I can't even tell you how much blood. It was always more blood.
A Japanese anime's amount of blood.
Yeah, and then add some.
Now, do you have your own custom recipe that you use nowadays for blood? How do you do that?
For a long time, I did mix my own. It was nothing custom. It was online.
Yeah.
You can find it anywhere. And then I found a company that it's a powder concentrate. And I thought, well, I'll try it. Super expensive, but it's one little container. I don't know how big to describe it as. Not very big. It would make like 7 gallons of blood out of just this powder. And I say it's super expensive. It's not.
Palm-sized cup of.
Yeah, I wish maybe half a cup.
Okay.
But I mean,
powder.
that probably is nice for consistency.
It is. But you have to add some things to it depending upon what you want to do. We worked on one film. We had 7 different kinds of blood. We needed daytime blood, nighttime blood.
So there's a difference between.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how it shows up on film.
Oh.
Your lighting completely changes how your blood looks. If they're using red filters, your blood almost becomes clear. So
Oh,
you have to
wow.
figure out, you have to make your blood almost black.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's sticky blood. There's blood that will flow, but stick. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. Sometimes some of the bloods that you make, if you use them on a person or a knife or an axe, it beads up. So the idea is you have to figure out how to break the surface tension of the liquid so that it flattens out. And so there's bloods that have to work that particular way.
I see.
Depends on where the injury happens. Some bloods are brighter than other. Arterial blood is different than even blood that from your stomach, like your liver or your Oh my gosh, it was but we learned a lot. That was a good project. We learned a lot about blood.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Now, in addition to the wounds, so do you also study stuff like, I know there's a whole science around blood splatter patterns and things like
There
that?
is. And we were talking earlier upstairs about if you watch a movie, how it really sort of gets ruined once you're in the business I'm in. And blood splatter is a big pet peeve to me. You can tell when somebody has a ketchup bottle and they just go across the top of the wall, and then it ran down, and it just drives me crazy. So if something is a cast off or something from a weapon, then we just dip the weapon in it, and we do the actual cast offs, and we figure out how things work correctly.
Because I hear the most misrepresented wound is the neck being slit. Like everyone always makes it look like it's some slow drip coming down that, but it's actually because of the pressure of the heart. It would shoot out 20 feet.
It comes out pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it continues with your heart. It continues, and it can go. I mean, it starts to get shorter.
Yeah.
Obviously, but those first few squirts.
Do these end up in your feed too? Is this the kind of stuff that pops up on your wall?
It is. I get a lot of, it's a lot of things with blood. I get things that are, like I got to cut somebody's head off. I need some, tips, or it's just the weirdest things come in there, and it's now I can't think of anything on top of my head, but a lot of them are, hey, I need a bunch of blood.
Well, you ever see one that's like, hey, you should be going to the hospital rather than posting this to
Oh, you're talking
mean
to
real
real
wounds? Yeah, real. Oh.
No, well, sometimes. I still get some from time to time that somebody will say, "Hey, I was thinking about you," and they'll send me a chopped off arm or something.
Oh dear God. I mean,
I wanted to show you something you'd never seen before.
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I hate to disappoint you, but
People are thinking about me sending me pen sets. It's like I don't know. It's
That's
like,
funny. I used to work EMS a long time ago too.
oh wow.
I was an interior firefighter. I worked EMS.
Oh, wow.
I was a sheriff's deputy for a while.
Huh.
So I've seen a lot of really
Real
stuff.
shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't know if that, although I'll tell you some stuff about the book that made me queasy, but for the most part, I mean, the first time you see your first dead body, it gets you, but then your 16th dead body is like,
Yeah.
it's just a dead guy like
You get-
yeah, or
Right.
somebody's eyeball's hanging out. You're like,
Yeah.
another eyeball hanging out of someone's head.
Right.
But in the beginning, it's definitely,
Yeah.
it takes you aback.
Right.
So
Yeah.
making the book wasn't too bad.
I
No.
remember watching one of those beheading videos. Where
Oh.
they,
Oh, like a real one?
yeah.
Oh,
when it
Ooh.
happened.
You- ooh.
I can't remember who the guy was, but
Probably a journalist,
We
because that
watched
seems
it.
to be generally what they do.
yeah, this was a guy that had been held for a while. And I can't remember. Anyway, we watched it at work, and yeah, it was.
Bill's
Right.
work stories. You're just bringing the whole thing down here now.
No, but
and
But it sticks with you.
It does.
I
I
watched-
mean,
I watched
thought
one.
about that for weeks.
Yeah,
It
and I still
bothered
think
me.
about the one I watched.
Yeah.
And it sticks with you. So I don't watch them anymore.
Yeah.
One's enough. One and done.
Yeah.
But I was
right.
like, okay, I can watch this. Whatever.
Mhm.
Look at the business I'm in.
was it the quick
This is like,
clean
ugh.
cut? Or
I know.
did
It's
they
never
have
a
to
quick
chop
clean
a
cut.
few times to get through.
Well,
that?
they were sawn
Yeah.
to get
But back
through
in the
it.
day, it was never a clean cut. Everyone hears
Mhm.
guillotine and they think, oh, that was quick. No.
No.
They often, because they would do so many,
The blade was dull.
it was
and they had
dull.
to
So
do
they
it.
would have to like reload and
no.
go like
Yeah, a couple
several
times.
times on a
jeez.
person.
Galactic Driftwood, we talk about fun stuff.
Hey,
Fun.
Galactic Driftwood After
I
Dark.
feel that's
That's
kind
funny.
of just rude. It's like, if you can't
But-
cut my head off clean, maybe.
But it's
Yeah.
funny, like we're.
So you should wear a little bracelet
Yeah,
that says
yeah.
that.
Life aware.
but I think what's interesting about this is it kind of shows the softness of a first world country. Because, I mean, you think
You're right.
there's
Sure.
a lot of third world countries like the Congo or, where they have child soldiers. This is still kind of a common thing.
Mhm.
Or back in the
Yeah.
medieval age. So I went to a talk today that was about the railroad going into Native America, construction as conquest. And, you're talking about settlers and vigilante groups in California who
Yeah.
murder hundreds of Native Americans, mostly women and children.
Mhm.
And this is a very comfortable thing for them.
Yeah.
Like the exposure to death and all that
Well,
stuff.
And when you think about it, in those countries, they are not as divorced from the whole food thing that we are. I mean, we go to the store and we
People
buy
as
nice.
food?
Well, no. I'm
Oh,
saying,
the
you know,
process
like,
of food.
killing the animals
yeah.
to make your food, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, we're divorced from that whole process. We go to a
Right.
antiseptic, super clean supermarket, and we buy it all prepackaged,
Mhm.
and we don't see the slaughter, we don't see the
True.
blood, we don't see any of that.
You don't hear the animal noises they make before they go
Right,
down.
Right. Whereas in other countries, that's how
Yeah,
you
it's
eat,
life.
Right?
They don't even bat an eye. Don't even
Right.
think about it. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Kind of why
For-
the Army killed all the buffalo is to drive the Native Americans to the reservations. But it's like they were aware of the food chain. But you're right. Now we are separated from the food chain. We
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why, like, if shit goes down and the super volcano blows in Yellowstone, if you survive, there's going to be a lot of things,
Yeah.
people who don't have no idea how to
No
live.
idea. Yeah.
Exactly.
If Sharknado actually ever happened.
Those are great.
They
Yeah.
are great. Although I just saw the Meg 2, or parts of it, and I was like, that's fun.
Oh, that's fun.
But, so movies, that gets us into our one of our main topics for tonight, which is scary stories to tell in the dark, which I think anyone who's in our age group, you remember definitely, if nothing else, the illustrations of this graphic book that was a collection of folk tales and ghost stories and things like that. Yeah, I got the book right here.
Hand model, Jenna. Hand model.
But yeah, because and it was funny, you have to appreciate the people who were terrified who still stood up and say, because I guess there was a 2017 anniversary edition, and they used a different artist work of it that was softer, more child friendly, and there was an
Oh.
uproar.
Gross.
Yeah.
There, I know, right? How dare you, sir?
Respect the source material.
Exactly.
That was traumatizing to
Right?
me. It should be traumatizing to the kids today.
Right.
I want you to scare my kids.
Yeah, right.
I know, and that's kind of what the quote was, because the Librarian Association of America stood behind this book, because I think people who were children during the 90s or teenagers remember the controversy and like people talking about it being a terrible book. Well, it's the Library Association of America stood behind it and said, yeah, there might be murder, there might be cannibalism, there might be difficult topics, but it's aimed at middle school kids, and it puts a face to the things that you're scared of.
Also, welcome to your history books.
Yeah, right.
And that's
You're
what was
right.
so cool. Like, there are citations where the author, it took a year to write each book, because it's a trilogy, for the author to write, and
Research the folk stories.
the folk stories, yeah, and because it's from all over the country. I mean, that was what was cool, because it's not just the folk stories, but also the music, which they did feature in the movie, too.
And it's just stories from the U.S. then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, admission time.
Okay.
I was not brave enough to read these books in middle school.
You were aware of them.
I was aware of them. I saw the images on the cover, and I just noped straight out of that. I was like, no, I'm good, thank
what
you.
about any of your contemporaries in school? Were they anybody else read it that you?
I don't know. I mean, you're talking to a book nerd, so I didn't really have many friends who read. It's like I noped straight out to Star Wars books.
Right.
And other things.
I'm now
Also,
judging a little bit.
Yeah, my parents might have flipped out a little bit if I would have brought home books with those covers.
That's fair. That's fair. What did you think of the movie?
I actually enjoyed it, and we talked about it earlier. I wasn't aware of the books. I don't know if it's a
I wasn't either.
time gap thing,
Yeah.
generation thing, or what. My kids grew up. They were 2-3 years old. I can remember they'd be in bed, and they had the TV VCR combo thing in their room, and begged for Nightmare on Elm Street. They had to go to sleep.
Oh,
They had to
sure.
go to sleep to Freddy Krueger.
Oh, God.
So I'm actually surprised.
Brave
that
kids. Really brave kids.
Well, with their dad doing what he did, I think they probably understood. But I don't know how that slipped through the cracks other than I come from a really small town.
Oh, where
So-
do you come from?
McCook, Nebraska.
Okay.
So
My
population.
grandparents lived there. My dad grew up there.
Oh, cool.
I did.
Yeah.
I did
Who's your
2
dad?
semesters of college. there.
Bob Swanson.
Oh, cool.
That was
doesn't ring a bell.
like
Steve
the worst
Swanson
time I've ever had in
also-
my whole
Steve
life.
Swanson's that's
McCook was terrible to me. And it's like, good for you.
What? What do you mean?
What?
What? You were there?
Yeah.
Well, he went
Everybody's from
well,
McCook.
What?
Well, he
Really?
went to-
I'm
he
not
went to
from McCook. I was
2
there for 2
semesters of
semesters of college, but it's like
Oh.
they're all in my business. It's like I'd be walking around and like the blinds would ruffle, and it's like everyone's looking at me. And it's like I get
What
home.
were you
my-
doing?
He was
No,
wearing
I
a
was
Satan
walking-
mask.
I was
say,
walking-
Just a little black mask. It's nothing
I
to
was
worry
just
about.
walking around, and it's like and every
Burning
time-
his black candles.
When I got home, my aunt always knew where I'd been. It's like
Oh, that's funny.
no,
That's
that's
super
just
funny.
wrong. That is small town mentality. I dig, I understand, but it's like it rattled my cage. It just did.
Well,
It's like,
question: did you go into the grocery store and just begin any conversation with, we're all gonna die in 20 years, right?
no.
That's what John's known for on the podcast. He's
I had
forecasting
not
doom and
begun
gloom.
my sociological training.
Okay.
So it's like,
So,
but you're just gonna have a really stupid look on your face when it happens. So
No,
it's
I'll be
like-
one of the dead ones. So
Yeah, so it won't matter.
Well,
You won't be able to laugh and say, I told you so.
anthropologically, I'll tell you right now.
that, or I'll be one of the warlords, dead or a warlord. That's
Yeah.
my goal.
If you have to eat people, make sure you cook them well done. That's all I got to say about that. And I think you'll feed a family of 10. So it'll be a great day.
I mean, there's got to be some good marbling
There
here.
is! That's a roast.
Slow roast me.
Give
Slow
me some
roast.
carrots and potatoes.
Fall apart.
Num.
Fall apart.
gonna
That's
be
all I'm
great.
saying.
Seth just asked if you're going to cannibalize him. You do it right. You don't waste this shit. Use garlic, salt, the finest herbs,
That's right.
local, organic.
I mean, you're not going to be there. You're not going to care.
No,
Right,
Right.
I want to
At
know I
that
had a
point-
good effect on the world after I'm gone.
Exactly.
Someone should remember me for something.
I will remember you as quite tasty, sir. I will. It's
Now,
like-
as long as we're on such a disgusting topic,
Oh,
you
we're back to
mentioned that there
disgusting.
was
I love it.
something in the book that made you squeamish.
Not necessarily this book. I've had things do that to me,
Oh,
but not
okay.
necessarily here. What happened with the book, though, is after 6 months, I saved one section. It was skin infections,
Okay.
and I saved that till the very end to edit. And I was pretty good through everything, and you know,
Yeah.
it didn't really bother me. But when I got to these weepy, grody,
Ugh.
swollen, pussy, grody things, then I had.
Calm down, Linda.
Our
Calm
producer
down.
just had an episode.
She
So
may have thrown up slightly in her mouth.
So that came
I
in.
gagged.
Those came in small editing because first I'd have to take the image, I'd have to resize the image and do it the right, you know, the
Sure.
300, the resolution 300. And so I'm constantly zooming in and out, and I've got these just awful things in my face. That section took the longest.
You know, they say there's something instinctively, like, to the DNA level that makes us afraid of infection and, you know, skin things
well,
like
because
that.
it killed you.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, for
Like-
most of history,
Well,
they didn't know
probably not
antibiotics.
you.
Yeah,
you-
true.
An infection
No.
is death.
But
And
it's
like-
an instinct. It's an instinct to, you see this, you run the fuck away.
Yeah, and it just I definitely had that feeling. And the one thing that I kept thinking was, what does this smell like? And that's what I think. That's
Oh
what
no!
I think that may have been another big part of why I struggled with that section, is because I just was imagining.
Yeah,
Couldn't
right.
stop. Yeah.
Oh.
But I got through it.
So-
There's one picture and that's it. No, I'm just kidding.
And
6
editing,
months.
Is it scratch and sniff?
editing is hard,
Too
but I
soon?
don't know that my
Is it
editing is
too
that
soon?
hard.
Right.
I don't know, man. But you know,
That'd
those
be
scratch and
tough.
sniff. Yeah.
Cause so I had like these mixed feelings about the movie. Cause Guillermo del Toro, I trust him.
Mhm.
I know he'd do the best he can, but obviously there was a lot of other cooks in the kitchen when you look at the screenplay. Cause it wasn't just him who wrote the screenplay. There was several other people who did and signed off on it. Cause I think he would have taken a lot darker ending, personally. Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
yeah. I know what you're saying.
But like, because what's point about a lot of these stories, there's not a happy ending. Like, life fucking happens, dark things happen.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say life happens.
No, but I think that's like a lot of ghost stories and things like that. It's preparing you for the reality of
more
the darkness
true to
of life.
Yeah.
And
Because true
there-
life doesn't always have happy
there's
endings.
no way to get those two boys back.
Right.
I think is how Guillermo del Toro would have written it.
Sure.
That no, they're gone. It's because that's just the
but
way
I
it
think
goes.
they wanted to have leave room for a sequel.
Because
right?
and that's what I couldn't figure out is that maybe this book or the movie had some dark elements in it. I think they spent a lot of their budget on the Will Tidy Dorto, the last creature that I'm totally messing up. Will Tidy Dorto, because that was like I remember
the
it
one
being
that came down the chimney and
the one in parts. Yeah, because
and was saying the phrase.
because I remember that graphic
what
from
did
the
the
book.
phrase? Did the phrase have any meaning?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's
the
his.
phrase.
It's the name of the story, and like it's in here.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, but
but-
did
And I'll
that
look it
have
up in a
any
second.
meaning other than just a thing?
But
that-
I feel like it was supposed to be ultimately what it became was like an introduction to draw in younger audiences of the glories of horror movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't. It was safe by the end of it, and I mean it was great. I
Right.
appreciate the ode they did to the artwork, especially
Yeah, really good.
the white woman with the black
oh
eyes.
goodness,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, ah.
But the creature that came down the chimney, that was a very good ode to that and to the artwork. And whoo.
Right. And is the cover, is that the Who Ate My Toe?
No, the Who Ate My
that.
Toe
I have.
was actually a male ghost
Okay.
ultimately,
I have
but
a soft
it had a twisted boy.
See, they
Oh,
did
okay.
they did a good job with that story because that was one where there's a jump scare coming. There's a jump scare.
But it doesn't come
coming,
where you
so-
think it's gonna
Yeah,
come.
Right.
and I was like, I know there's a jump scare coming. I'm not gonna be scared by it. It's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen now. There's a jump scare coming. It's gonna happen now. Oh God, they still got me.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was
I'm sitting there thinking
craftsmanship
that
right
kid
there.
crawled out from under the bed way too soon.
Oh yeah,
If it was me, I probably would have slept under there, waited till morning.
Yeah, I didn't. I
and
wanted
that
to come
wouldn't
out.
have helped you.
Exactly.
Nope,
I
not
was-
even a little bit.
I have a soft spot in my heart for zombies. Good zombies.
Yes.
Really
Yeah,
good zombies. And I really liked I really like that was shot for such a distance from coming down the hallway, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
really looked good.
So what's your favorite kind of zombie then?
As far as like fast moving, slow.
Fast moving, slow,
What do you
virus,
think the real zombie is?
undead.
Here's the thing. I'm sort of old school, so I like a slow, makes sense to me.
Shambling
Shambling,
zombie.
slow zombie. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Fast zombies scare the shit out of me.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
those terrify me. But
How do you
I
beat
really
that?
like the old ones have been rotted for
Right.
a while, and they're
Yeah.
struggling, those are the ones I really like. Because then I feel like I got a chance.
Yeah.
Those fast moving ones, I'm just gonna die.
What
Right.
I really liked about the new Dawn of the Dead in the mall was that they actually used real amputees for a lot of those running
Oh,
scenes.
really?
Yeah, they gave them roles because like people who already had missing limbs
Yeah.
and set them up. I
That's
thought
a
that was
great
great.
idea.
Yeah.
That's fun when those guys get some work.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh.
But
Very
what I really appreciate, because the book is a lot about folklore, but also songs. People don't understand like how macabre songs during the 1800s and the Victorian era were, and I knew because like what he included was actually in his original books was the musical notes. So if you wanted to sit at a piano and play the music
While
of the
you
old
were
folk,
telling the story or something.
yeah, like he had the songs, and that when she played the music box, that was actually
Oh.
one of the songs. Like "You Will Be the Next to Die." That was one of the songs listed, I believe, in the first book.
Oh, that's
I
neat.
told Linda as we left the theater, I said, "Great, now I'm gonna have to find that music box."
Oh
As a
goodness.
prop.
Yeah, it's like once you learn what it's talking about, Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
or
just
London
never-
Bridge is
you
falling
can-
down.
Yeah, you can never hear it the same way again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun when you figure those things out. That's the toe.
The big toe. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. And actually, the
That is a
gender.
creepy drawing.
The gender of the ghost may never have actually been revealed, but it was definitely more of like a. It was cool because like you had these me Tai Dodie Walker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
Mitai Doti Walker.
And I wanted to figure out if that had any significance or if it was just a
That's what
random
I'm-
string of
Is
words.
it like Rain Man when
Yeah.
when you start either saying it faster or slower, it makes sense. I wonder if
Right.
it's something like that.
But that was a freaking creepy zombie there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. It's like it's meant to be a jump scare when you're telling it. Because that was what was so great. What I remember the most about these stories is me and my cousins sitting in a dark closet with a flashlight,
Oh wow.
telling each other these stories like
You are
holding.
way more metal
That's
than I
awesome.
was when I was a kid.
Dude,
Way
this is
more
like
metal.
pre-middle school. So we would tell each other, and we actually got in trouble for this. Like my grandmother, who is very Catholic and Hispanic, snatched us, and I was the terrible influence. Snatched us out of the closet and was like,
Summoning the devil.
yeah, basically, like it was that level. Because I mean I think that's
And that had
just-
zero effect on you, didn't it?
Made it worse.
I don't know what you're talking about, Seth. I mean, it's not like I'm
it's
violent
the
or
kind of thing where the
anything.
more you tell somebody don't do something, the more they want to do it.
Yeah.
Jenna was just like, "This is me now."
But like, so I mean, but music being what it is to draw people together,
Right.
like it's even more haunting that way.
Oh yeah, you play the right song in the right key, and it goes from happy to creepiest thing you've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, and that's what it is.
And then have little kids sing it.
Right.
That makes me think Lost Boys, the theme song of the Lost Boys, which has a child choir to it. Which, if you've never seen Lost Boys, how dare you?
That's weird.
How dare you?
Yeah.
But go see it because it's the best vampire movie probably ever. I mean, it at least ties with Fright Night and Dracula, the Gary Oldman version.
Gosh, I hold Fright Night above all those.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I still put them in that group.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of different things what they were doing with Lost Boys. And,
Very good.
yes. And it was, yeah. Kiefer Sutherland? I mean, come on. Come on. It's,
Nice.
Tell us more, Jenna.
I don't think I can.
Would you want to?
There's
be a
no
vampire?
rating on this
Hell
podcast
no.
anymore.
Why not?
Because I don't want to see the people I love die around me. I'm a werewolf. It's the native blood. I can't.
Can't help
What
it.
can you do?
Yeah.
You're a weird cat.
Do werewolves die?
Yes,
Sure they do.
they're not immortal.
You're like, sure they do. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know.
Well, I know
Well,
these
so the
things.
bullets.
It's my job.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta
do they
research this
really
stuff.
die though? They've got a good healing factor. What a werewolf age.
I don't. I imagine they would age very slowly, like a Wolverine effect
Yeah.
from X-Men. But they would still die.
Audie's waving over there. Did Audie just out himself as a
Yeah.
werewolf?
He's like 400.
Oh.
Old man Logan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He did an Old Man Logan comic.
But I do love the
Nice.
vampire mythos. Like I've oh man, I've definitely obsessed over ghost stories and things like that since 4th grade. My gateway, and I actually do remember my gateway book, which was Wait Till Helen Comes by Mary Downing Holland. And it was this very well done ghost story about a blended family, and the sister, who now had a new little sister she didn't really want, ends up befriending a ghost that
sounds really familiar.
that
to me.
accidentally had killed herself by running into a pond because the rest of her family died in a fire. And it was a very well done ghost story, and I'm like, I need to read all the ghost stories now.
Right.
And then, of course, living in Oklahoma, like Podunk, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, OKAY, that's how Podunk it was. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting little folk tales.
Yeah, I bet.
So, I have never been a horror movie buff. Just has never been part of my nerd makeup. And then I marry my wife, Katie,
Who loves ghost stories.
loves horror movies. So I've been absorbing a lot of horror movies over the past few years. The ones that really, really get me are kind of the home invasion stories.
Yeah.
The ones that are like much more real life.
Yeah.
Although I have always been had a low-key obsession with serial killers, but author. Are there any horror movies that get you anymore?
When the ghost genre first came out, I really loved a really good ghost story.
Yeah.
I'm kind of off that. They've kind of oversaturated. And it's
Yeah.
always the same story. Find the body, put the body to rest, and then, oh, guess what? That wasn't the end. And so I'm kind of over ghost stories. But I lived through slashers. Let's see. 'Cause being a kid of the 80s, that's all we had.
Yeah.
So let me think. What do I really like now? I think I'm sort of back to the classics. I think I'm, werewolves, vampires.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of heading back in that. And
You
then
know,
I
you
love
know,
those.
I actually love to watch Star Trek, the original series, because it predates the special effects. And you get to see them acting. It's like, there's no alien spaceship there. You just see them,
oh,
like reacting. Do you like the oldies now? Because you know that they can't really CGI it. They have to actually do it.
right. That kind of. I've been looking for a segue to brag on myself about the movie that I was talking.
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about the one.
Do.
That
Yeah.
sort of kind of brings me
Please
back
do.
to that. So being in this, to answer your question, yes. So
Like
being
how-
in this, what's that?
Go ahead, like House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, the things that they used to have
Yeah.
to do so much. Either you didn't show it, you just did reactions, or you puppeteered the fuck out of that.
Right, exactly. So working on all these films, and it's the film industry is dictated this. You have to show everything. It's gotten to that point that
Yeah.
you have to show. Even if somebody gets their finger chopped off, you have to show it. Somebody gets their head chopped off, you have to show it. And that's fine. I mean, we get paid to do that stuff, so I'll do them all day. Doesn't bother me. But what happens is, so I make one film per year that plays at a film festival. And my thought was, I'm going to make a movie where the whole movie takes place in your head.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you just a little teeny bit. You're going to imagine the rest.
Yeah.
And what it was a girl had got kidnapped. I really went basic, and it's not a very long movie. You just, when she's coming to, she's in the back of a Jeep.
Yeah.
She has a little eye hole through this potato sack that was on her head. We show the guy drag her out of the Jeep, drags her downstairs, and then he throws her into a closet. And then so the rest of the movie is basically, there's a gap in the bottom of the door. It's about this wide.
Oh, wow.
And so if she lays her head down, she can see out of one eye. And so her field of vision is just this little square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And across the hallway is a door exactly like hers. And as she's at first it's just pitch black, and she hears a girl crying. And so, you know, she comes down and she looks through we shot it so that, you know, as she comes down, the camera comes down and you see the other door, and you hear the crying. And then you hear the guy off in the background, and he's like, you shut the fuck up, or I'm going to come in there and, you know, I'll give you something to cry about. And she continues to cry. So then the next thing you see is just 2 boots come into the shot. The door opens, enough for you to see the girl in there. I think maybe she just had on some underwear and a ripped t-shirt. And she was kind of up against the wall, and the door closes. Well, then you hear all the things that he's doing to her, but you don't show it. And it was just horrible. She's screaming. You can hear he's slapping her around. He comes out, basically says, you know, if you cry again, I'm bringing the dogs in next time.
Ooh.
So there's time passage. It goes back black. You think that the girl probably fell asleep. And then she starts crying again. And the girl who's looking through the door is trying to talk under the crack of the door. And she's like, be quiet. He's going to come back if you don't stop crying. The girl's still crying. And the guy's had it. He's just like, I'm done. He comes down, and he comes in. You see his 2 boots, but you see just barely the tip of a chainsaw. Just enough to know that he has a chainsaw. And kicks the door open. And, of course, the girl's scared to death now. Door closes, and you just hear him fire it. And you hear the chainsaw run on the other side of the door. She's screaming. He's going after her with the chainsaw. But then you hear a baby cry. So she had a baby with her in that room. You don't know that till the door closes. You hear the baby crying. Well, now it's just, I've just got volumes cranked, baby screaming, chainsaws running.
And that's what's so brilliant about that. Like, to me, because I think what we can make in our brain is so much worse than... Have you ever read Stephen King's book on writing? So he talks about that a lot, and how in his writing, it's an interesting telepathic connection, but it's much better to, instead of trying to lay out every single detail and try and represent everything in your head to people, let it come to them on their own. Like set it up, but let it run on their own. And that's exactly what it sounds like he did.
So the door opens, he comes out, and it's a bloody mess. You just see it because the door opens and closes. Just blood everywhere, chainsaw, blood's dripping off of it. And he pivots, and you see the toes of the boots now pointing at her through this little crack. And he takes a step forward. We show the doorknob, and there's a big scream. But what happened was, I don't know how many people were there, 150, 200 people were at the theater, and just all hell broke loose. Like, it was bad. I almost got banned from the making any more movies. And it was in the horror movie block.
Oh my God!
They were mad that it didn't come with a warning.
Wow.
There was just a ton of hate mail that came back to the theater.
You're kidding me.
And I didn't show anything. Everything that they're mad about is what they envisioned.
Right.
Wow.
And the reason I did that is because when I watch a horror movie, and I think it happens to everybody, and I'm just going to give this as an example because we've done it 100 times. Somebody gets their head chopped off. Somebody gets their arm chopped off.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the director has a vision of that. The special effects artist has a vision of that. They do it and they put it on the screen. But what happens instantly is, in my mind, I think, well, that's not what it looks like when you... I don't think that's what it looks like when you chop an arm off. I'm out.
Yeah.
And everybody's out. You can't show everything. You have... What I think in my head is better. And everybody can have their own movie in their head.
Sure.
You know, the axe comes down. The arm's there. The axe comes down. You cut away.
Yeah.
Everybody's looks different, but it's right.
Yeah.
You show it, and everybody has a different idea.
Yeah, the monster's always scarier until you see it.
Yeah.
Happens
Like-
in everything.
Yeah.
Alien, classic horror movie. Like, we were talking about the chest burster scene earlier. That was a good time to kind of show that because it's just so good. But, like, the very first time you see the xenomorph, like, sneak up on, I think it was the captain.
Yeah.
We watched it the other week. He sneaks up on the captain, and it's very clearly just like a guy in a suit there. And you're like, that's a guy in a suit. It was a whole lot scarier before you saw this guy go, "Rah!"
I know,
Or Cabin in the Woods. Like, I love
Cabin
Cabin in the
Woods.
Woods by Joss Whedon. Like, it's really fun,
super fun.
but it's a very intelligent horror movie because it plays off all the tropes. But it invests in these folklores like, yeah, we're doing this because we got to please the elder gods, Cthulhu and shit like that. And the worst failing of that whole movie is, to me, in my mind, the hand at the end.
Yeah.
Had they not had the hand at the end that comes through and slams on the ground like some enormous giant.
Because it could have been anything.
Tentacles. I was expecting a tentacle. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you'd have been happier with the tentacle.
I am a child of anime, so...
You've seen that hentai.
I've seen that hentai. So, yeah, I think it's only really failing. That and I think... So, anyone who's seen it, so there's this scene where you suddenly see them change directions going through the hallway. Because, like, the girl, we've just found out that one of the girls have had their head chopped off. They're in the house. And do we split up? Do we not split up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was an editing error, that there was supposed to be a voice that whispers to them, we need to split up. And they forgot to put it in there. Because then otherwise, why would you split up? Yeah, so I think those are the only two things of that whole movie, which otherwise I think is very beautifully done. Dialogue, intelligence, joking humor, mythology was great.
See, now, you also mentioned that Cabin in the Woods played on folklore.
Yes.
It's also like playing on folklore that we've made.
Yes, because
and that's what I think is the interesting
mythology.
point. Is like it's playing on like tropes and folklore and mythology that we've made, like just like here in like recent decades. And that's part of what I really enjoyed.
But I mean, horror movies, it's interesting because I think everyone's got a certain genre they like. I have a hard time with the slasher films as much, except for Halloween. For whatever reason, I love Michael Myers. I think he's a great, interesting character of an evil that will not stop. I can't stand slasher films like Human on Human, because I'm like, that shit really happens in the world. Like Saw, they even admit that, like, the second Saw, they take a lot of their inspiration from the Spanish Inquisition. And I'm
really?
like, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Like a lot of the Saw, they take real medieval torture devices and purposely incorporate it as inspiration.
Cool.
I've never seen Saw. I'm not big on blood just for blood's sake. I like
But I love monsters.
I like monsters.
I like monsters. I like ghosts. I like old gods. I thought Babadook. I mean, there was a lot of a hype around the Babadook, which is about I think it's a Russian Eastern folklore. But I like a good mythology.
That was fun.
See, that's why I said I think everyone's kind of got a thing that gets them, which is why like the home invasion horror movies. I don't like. Watching those is really stressful for me because that's what I'm afraid of. But I could watch slasher movies forever. Or like monster movies. Those just don't get me. Oh God, someone made... I can't remember what it's called now. But someone made a movie that was based around Herman Mudgett. He was a serial killer in Chicago.
Oh wow! I don't think I've heard of this movie.
Around the turn of... Well, you shouldn't, because it was terrible.
Oh, well then.
And it was awful, and it was stupid.
Okay.
And they... Like, you could tell the creators thought it was good. And they tried really hard, but they got everything wrong in it. And I was just like... I don't buy any of this.
Well, I think movies...
I don't believe this.
Like the Zodiac. My mom is from California, and she remembers the Zodiac Killer and people talking about it. Like, it was a very scary time.
Yeah.
I'll bet movies about... Sure. I'll bet that...
No, like, not even... Yeah, like, not even... Like, fuck the movie. Like, the reality of living in that time when the Zodiac Killer was fucking murdering people.
Right. And it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
At any time.
Or the Summer of Sam.
Thank you for that, Bill.
I'm a big
Thank you for that.
True crime guy, and so I listen. I don't know how many true crime podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Film 9 hours is just all day it's murder and mayhem and whatnot. But yeah, so all those stories are just crazy.
So yeah, well, favorite podcast, murder podcast, because I love the murder podcast.
I have a couple, but my favorite is Sword and Scale.
Sword and Scale.
Sword
That sounds
and I'm
interesting.
gonna write.
Really good, great backlog. It's true crime based on some more modern day stuff. But it's more like the slogan is, I can't remember now. It's something about the realest or the worst monsters are real people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
It's just these horrible stories of
People doing
people,
horrible things
yeah,
to
people and people. That's not the right phrase.
I
but-
don't need any of that. I already have a low opinion of humanity.
and then
I
some
don't
of
need
them
a
talk
lower
about
one. But
Yeah,
some of the other ones I listen to talk about older cases and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Sword and Scale is my favorite. If you want
should-
something that's
We should talk about some of the pictures.
sure,
Oh yeah.
If you want to cut to the
Sword and Scale.
Laptop.
Check it out.
The things
So-
that you can do.
yeah, so
The
this
things
is some
that
of
you do, the
this is
work
one of the
and
things
Yeah.
you
So
wanna tell
serial
us a little bit
killers
about
view
the-
this for inspiration.
So we've got
Hey!
an axe into the face of a
Oh.
young girl.
Yep, this was a nudie cutie short film. It was shot in a bed and breakfast in St. Joe.
Oh.
Did they know?
It was a couple hundred years old. Yeah, no, they didn't. We actually had the whole thing. They just said,
Okay.
They threw a bunch of money at
You
it. They
do,
said,
boo?
yeah, threw them a bunch of money and they said, here, you can just have the place. So we
Oh.
shot there for 3 days. But on this particular one, she's holding the axe.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, the whole entire shot is her holding the axe. So she falls onto the bed. And so you can either build a rig to hold an axe to somebody's face, but that's next to impossible. Or, you have the actress or actor do it. The idea is if I tried to hold that,
Yeah.
I could never match the angle and her speed. And
Sure.
Oh.
so if you
The
hold
angle
it
of the
yourself
fall.
and you press it against your face, you
naturally.
move naturally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she falls into the shot holding the axe in that particular one. That exact scene was an homage. I asked him if we could put it in the film. Luckily, we get a lot of creative, influence creative ideas. So on this particular one, it's from the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Really?
I
So
remember.
it's a shower. The lady or the girl that's in the shower.
Yeah.
She turns around and she's like, no. And the next thing you know, she has an axe in her face and she's sliding down the wall. The same thing.
Huh.
She's holding the axe off screen as she's
Uh,
sliding down the wall. So
Oh.
that's an homage to
that.
Tom Savini and
Nice.
Friday the 13th.
Interesting.
Let's see what we got next. Okay, that's a T-shirt. Okay.
That was in front of our church.
So we got a
Neat.
bunch of guys, people holding heads.
Yep, that is the guy with the baseball hat's my brother,
Ah.
and
Okay.
the girl next to him is
This is the
my
brother
niece.
that you rolled around in the
Yeah,
streets and
exactly.
covered in blood. Okay.
So anyway, he asked me. He said, "Hey, next time you come down, can you bring some of your props and things?" We had a church event. I don't remember what it was or why
That's a
we were.
very
it's weird
interesting
that-
church event.
Very weird. It's very weird. I was even at a church, but it makes
Yeah.
sense now that I had dead bodies. But anyway, when the event was over, I brought him out to the car, and we're pulling body parts and heads out of the trunk. And my niece, I don't know if you can see in that picture, her face is very.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
she's
see
like,
it.
oh.
She's very disgusted with
All right.
with the chopped off head.
No, no.
That was from a film called One More Time for the Camera. Was that particular?
Oh,
head.
wow.
All right. Ooh,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's interesting.
That's
Oh.
my wife. I had built a cyber helmet, and it was for Comic-Con. I had 2 weeks to build a prop.
That's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, so-
Wow.
Super cool.
So
Yeah.
we threw
You
together.
did that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's built on a motorcycle helmet, so
Really?
I could
Yeah,
I
which
could
I-
wear that and ride down the street.
Which I want to
with it.
say, your
That's
wife
badass.
is gorgeous.
Thank
so,
you.
like, well done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks. I've always been really inspired by that photo, and we found it.
Yeah, no,
Andrew
it's
Barron took the
beautiful.
photo.
So did you make 2 different helmets for that?
Nope,
Or-
we are. It's an homage to the painting on the left.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different, but it was definitely inspired by,
Yeah.
even the clothing. We
Yeah,
got
that's-
pretty close.
That's
Yeah.
badass.
That is awesome. Huh. All right.
Let's see. If you scroll way down, I think we actually have some video stuff of that. And actually, the one video clip I'm talking about did kind of get to me. Not shooting it. If you see something you want to talk about, you can stop. But not shooting it, not doing the effect. But once they put sound to it.
Is that
Yeah.
Kiss? Like, did you
Oh, I
do a
didn't do that.
zombie kiss?
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. That's just a picture I thought was super cool.
No,
What's
that
with
was
the
cool.
guy with the black forehead or black?
Yeah.
Oh, we were testing textures.
Oh.
And
That's
so,
what seems like it'd be a lot of fun too with what you do with the experimentation.
Oh man, we tested so much on one film, we spent their entire budget.
Huh.
So we had
Wait. What's
so we had
what's
to pay.
the one at the top left there?
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, we were at a con in California, and that girl came down the aisle where we were at, and I had to grab a picture of her. I just
Yeah.
thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
she looks like for the people just listening, she's
Like a sugar candy.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
kinda.
just
Skull.
forget that people are
Yeah,
actually
with a
kind
skull.
of listening to
with
this.
a skull for a face, and looks like
It's
Little
beautiful
those
body
feathers
paint.
coming off
Yeah.
the top of the
Oh,
skull.
yeah.
I don't.
Wow.
Maybe they might be stripped pecan feathers.
Yeah.
See, that's what's amazing about cosplay for me. It's just like how good some
All
of
the
these people are.
creativity.
Exactly.
When you're gonna wear one of your own?
Never probably.
Never.
No, I'm good with writing. I'm not good with coming up with things to.
Oh,
look at the
Hereditary.
teeth.
What'd you think of that?
What's that?
Hereditary?
Oh, I loved Hereditary.
That was really well done.
It was really good.
Woo!
I don't know what that is.
It
Horror
was a
movie.
very well done horror
Yeah,
movie.
it's really,
like
really good.
it gets to your nerves. It
It's very
really
good.
does.
Haven't seen that one yet
Woo.
because
Ghoul teeth.
I'm a big old pansy.
You
So
are.
this was for
Ghoul teeth.
ghoul.
That was for the nudie cutie, the bed and breakfast.
Oh, really?
It turns out the butler was a ghoul,
Oh.
and so that was that's the
Turns
paint
out,
job we did
yeah.
on the teeth.
Wow.
And
One of those
and a little
things
bit
that
of his
happens
skin
in B&Bs. You gotta
Right.
be careful with the ghoul butler.
Well, yeah.
there. Oh, there he is down in the corner, or on the side right there, lower left. That's
Yeah.
sort of the paint job in its processes.
I need to see
did
it
the
now
different things.
because my favorite ghouls so
Oh,
far
wow.
has been
Nice,
the
very
sorority
nice.
ghouls
That is
from Tales from the Crypt.
creepy.
Oh yeah.
There was an episode where these guys were going into this house as a dare, and it ends up that the sorority was a bunch of ghouls.
Oh, cool. That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
That
It
sounds
was
like a
fun.
fun change up on the trope.
Oh yeah, it was really well done.
So that was probably
Delivery.
That was probably a
Nothing
6
like
to 8
sorority
hour
ghouls.
6 to 8 hour paint job.
Oh jeez.
Okay,
He's
I gotta give you the fist bump for that. Come on.
he's not actually wearing it in this particular. This is on a dummy head.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wow,
That's
but
why I was
still
able to
that
take
paint
8.
job.
I could take 8 hours to paint it.
Oh god.
So when he showed up, we just stuck it on him and I was ready to go.
God,
that's
awesome.
That's
that's
really good.
very cool.
Who hired him? Like who hires the ghoul butler?
Oh, there's that middle one.
He had very good
This
recommendations.
girl?
Yeah, that's a fake head. The whole time I worked on that.
Wow, really?
I thought that. Oh yeah, until I blew it up full
You
size.
see it on the
It's
stand.
an actual person.
The whole time I worked on it, it was in my shop, and then I kept it in my living room for a while.
So
The
yeah.
longer you look at it, you're like, she's gonna open her eyes. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
she
so-
is going to
Yeah.
open her eyes, and I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm
So
like,
for-
wait, did I
for-
work with that person? She definitely looks like a coworker.
For the
Hmm.
audio, what we're looking at, like on the screen right now, is a super realistic human head,
Yes.
just like sitting on a shelf.
The
With a
woman
gash
big
in its
gash
head.
in her
It's
face.
Big gash in
so
her
realistic.
The way
But,
you
yeah.
ran the makeup was perfect.
Thank
Well,
you.
well, how you put it is, it's like it looks like she's just gonna open her eyes.
Yeah.
If I had something
Perfect.
like that, I would so keep it in my refrigerator.
And then Linda would be
When
like,
it came over.
fuck you. Fuck you so hard.
I think if you didn't see her on the
Yeah.
mantle, I
No,
really think you would
it was
just.
real.
Yeah.
I think there's some step-by-step stuff in here too. Of
No,
Wow.
because
process.
here's what's so cool about what you did. So I just saw Whitney Cummings'
Mhm.
special.
on Netflix.
Yes,
Mhm.
and she had a robot made of her from the people who do sex robots.
Oh, those things.
And
yeah.
what
But
they
that's
talk-
that's completely different now
But
from what I
what she
was
talks
thinking.
about is that what makes a human look real is the asymmetric
Yeah,
level.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the nostrils on that head, they weren't symmetrical.
They weren't on her.
No,
Yeah.
it looks. It
Oh,
looks.
look at that
Yeah.
monster
Yeah.
face right there. Look at that.
So that was.
Well, that's a video. Click play.
Yeah, we had to make the mouth move on that particular one.
Oh.
That's
That's awesome.
So what that was just something that was
Seymour?
playing on a TV in a movie.
someone's
Really?
wearing that.
So in the movie,
No, I think they were just moving it.
No. Look.
Oh, it is someone is wearing it. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
They are?
no, it's on a dummy head.
Oh, okay.
But
Never
in the-
mind.
But that's playing in the background on a TV while the rest of the movie's going on.
Huh.
So the fake head actually is on this screen that you were on. I think it's in the middle. This is the one that sort of unnerved me a little bit, where
The one
she's
in the
down there,
middle?
down.
Oh,
more.
down here.
I was good making that and doing the cast and everything was awesome. They added the sound effects and it's this part when the knife goes in,
Yeah.
and he's sawing. They added
Oh,
that
wow.
stupid sawing sound
Yeah.
going through the.
Oh, you mean like going through wood sound?
No,
Or
I don't know what they cut through, but
Content warning for YouTube, I guess.
it
I
really
guess.
was.
So much for your clear rating, sir.
It
Oh,
sorta-
my clear rating's been
sorta
dead
took me over the
forever.
top.
Hey,
Huh.
But
so
anyway.
he's like threatening her
Yeah.
with the sickle.
But comes in with a surprise knife.
With the knife. It's like, you better stay still, or I'll cut you with this sickle,
Right.
so I can
Oh,
cut you with this
So
knife.
Yeah.
is this is the dummy head again?
It is. Everybody wanted a picture with the.
The
The
dummy
Well,
head.
it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
What's funny is if you go all the way to the bottom, our very
You're creeping us out.
if you go to the bottom somewhere down there is our very first fake head we had ever made.
Ooh, I love this thing.
Yeah, that was
Whoa!
a slasher.
That comes right at you.
That was a slasher movie also. What
Was that the
happened
cheerleader one?
Yeah, so the girls are practicing cheering,
Yeah.
and the killer slips some acid somehow into the water supply. I don't know how.
And they
the
splash it in their
underground,
face?
well, the underground sprinkler comes on.
Oh.
Sprays all the cheerleaders. So this particular girl had reached up to her face, and as she pulls her hand down, her face stretches out. And
Oh!
Pulls
she
the
pulls
eye
off
socket
this,
out.
yeah,
Holy
pulls the side of her
cow.
face off.
Yeah, that's pretty horrible.
That was super fun,
I mean, I know if I was in high school, I probably couldn't get enough of watching like cheerleaders get.
right? And this might be on Amazon too. Now that I think about it. But anyway, back to what was I saying? Oh, our very first fake head.
Oh yeah.
So I go to the meeting,
I keep going down.
and so I've done special effects
Oh,
since I was a
look at
little
that
kid.
finger.
I think I'm gonna. That's what the podcast name is gonna be. Our very first fake head.
Oh, God.
So we've done a lot of smaller things for films, and this was a big money project.
Oh,
This is the one
wow.
where we spent all of our money on testing. But anyway, I go to the meeting, and I have my little notebook, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna need this, and I'm writing things down. He's like, I need a tattoo cut off somebody, I need some skin peeled off somebody, I'm gonna need a decapitation, blah blah blah. And then he's like, and I
That's
need
the weirdest grocery list.
right. And then he's like, and I'm gonna need a fake head, that looks exactly like the actor for close up on screen. So
Yeah.
I remember on paper I wrote, how the fuck do you make a fake head? I had no idea. So I'm agreeing to everything. I'm like, cool, definitely, we got it, no problem.
Yeah.
That's the movie we spent all of the budget on testing.
Oh, to
We
come up with the
spent-
right head.
We spent $2,500 of our own money then
Oh my.
To make up.
to do the special
Oh my
effects.
God.
Well, I mean, it was a learning experience.
Yeah, and it turned out really
Yeah.
good. but-
No, it looks amazing.
Oh, I love
Oh, wow.
this pitchfork.
Can't think
through
of a
the
better
head.
tax deduction.
Oh wow,
Right.
that is.
He gets lifted in the air, actually. by
Holy
that.
cow!
Now is that
Yeah. So
is that a
for
real person?
It is.
Okay.
So for the listeners, we're looking at a picture that looks like someone's just got a pitchfork straight through the bottom of their neck, right through their head.
Yeah.
And as I'm describing it, Linda's just like going, nope, nope, nope.
So if I remember, he was squatted on a box, and so this is the camera angle. So literally all he had to do was stand up.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's getting lifted
Oh.
Wow, that is
by the
That's clever.
pitchfork.
that's.
It's the
Wow.
simplest effects that are the best.
Everything is it's so, you believe what you see
Yeah.
in some of the instances.
And you see, like, really a lot of horror. And I don't think people appreciate it. It's a catharsis of things we're afraid of, or this tension that we feel with society. Whatever era that the horror is happening in, like The Purge. I think The Purge is a
Yeah,
perfect
perfect
example of a catharsis of a tension that people feel, and they need to exercise it, and horror allows them to do that. And I'm a little bit.
Okay, so what's going on?
Oh God, that's Frida Kahlo shit right there.
So this girl gets, this is cheerleader camp movie.
Okay.
She had a javelin that had gone through sort of her midsection, a little bit up from her pelvic
But
area.
JJ,
Yeah.
It's up just a little bit from that.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
So that was
You said vajayjay.
that
Come
was-
on.
Yeah.
That was fun to shoot too, because they shot. That's two halves, obviously, by a rig, and you can see we're putting a rig together. So when they shot it getting pulled out, the camera was set high.
Mm.
So all she did was pull her pants down a little bit. You can't really tell, but it looks like
Sure.
it gets sucked back. We
Nope.
the long
That's a big old nope right there. Set that one out. Bye.
A funny story with that javelin.
Yeah.
Funny story.
At the end,
That's the name of the show, man.
I think he's right. Funny story with that javelin.
at the end of the movie, it turns out that the killer is wearing, well, not turns out, is wearing the mascot costume, which was a panda. The panda costume, and the panda head was this
Never
giant
trust
ball.
those pandas.
Right?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It was a giant head, and they're
Alright.
shooting in the dark
Uh-huh.
at this camp. And the scene was she had the javelin, and she's running. So the person's running like this, and the javelin panda's running this way.
Yeah.
And the idea was that the girl ran past the cameraman. The camera guy is watching it through the screen. She couldn't see through the panda head.
Oh.
So she's running and running and running and running, not realizing,
But the girl had stopped.
well, not realizing the camera guy was there.
Oh.
The camera guy thinks she can see him, so he doesn't move. Oh my lord!
Oh,
She hit the very center of the camera lens,
Oh god.
perfectly in the center.
Oh god, both the camera was in his head.
It put a dink in the camera. They had to switch out for a different camera.
Oh my god.
He thought she was gonna miss him. She didn't know he was even there.
Oh
Ding the camera.
damn. Wow.
It'd have gone right through him probably.
Oh wow.
There's a good video of it.
For those of you that are seeing the dog, it's our Galactic Driftwood dog. He's just
I think we'll have to cut to that.
So I feel like we're probably getting a little late on time.
Yeah,
We might
probably.
be-
But
Yeah.
we've looked
Wow, look at
everything
the claws.
you've brought in tonight. What projects are you working on now that you are absolutely in love with, or just putting out there, and what should your new fans, hopefully seeing this, know about?
Wow, you ask the best questions, and you ask a bunch of them all at once.
I'm sorry.
Shanna's got ADD.
What are we working on now? You know what? Actually, I've just gotten a bank of scripts, and it always starts out as script, and we send up a itemized price list, and then the director, producer, they freak out. And we trim the fat, and things change, and a lot of things happen off camera. So I do have some really cool projects coming up. There is Chills Down Your Spine is an anthology of about 7 or 8 movies.
Ooh, that looks good. That sounds just from that good.
There was Chills Down Your Spine, and the other one was Shivers Down Your Spine. I think
Ooh.
Shivers might be the new one. And what's cool is my wife is the wraparound. So
Oh,
like in
cool.
Tales from the Crypt, you have the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
So in these films, Megan plays a genie
Ooh.
who comes out of a lamp and she tells the stories.
Oh, very
Basically,
cool.
she tells the stories to the guy that finds her in the lamp.
Huh.
In the second series, let me think how that happened. She has a twin sister. And so the twin sister, the same guy, nope, not true, sorry. A slasher killer finds a lamp.
Oh.
Actually finds it in the back of his toilet, of all things. He can't figure out why the toilet won't flush, and when he takes the back off, there's a genie lamp in there. Rubs it, and it's Meg again, but she's playing her younger twin sister.
Yeah.
And so then the guy ties her up to a rack, and he's about to kill her, and she's like, wait a minute, you like stories? And somehow convinces
Kind of like
him.
Scheherazade.
She's
It's like a
trying-
modern Scheherazade.
She's buying time, so
Sure.
that's where these
what
stories
did
are
you
gonna come
say?
from.
Scheherazade.
Okay, well, no, you said like two different things.
No, it's a modern Scheherazade.
Okay.
So Scheherazade is the storyteller of 1,000 Arabian Nights
No,
to her
I-
husband to make sure she doesn't get murdered.
Yes,
Basically,
yes.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I get to play the killer that ties her up.
Oh,
So that's
fun.
super fun. I've had a few acting gigs that have come up. this
Hey.
year. Hey, not very good, but.
Nice.
Oh, I doubt that.
All right. So, where can we find your past projects?
That's a great question. I made a list of those, and I don't know how many films we must have worked on, features and shorts. A lot of them are.
Are you on
being shot-
IMDb yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank God.
So a lot of projects are out for shopping for distribution, so they haven't been released yet.
Okay.
I mentioned a few that were on Amazon right now. A lot of them are low budget, so they go straight to DVD, and then they get sold at cons and conventions
Yeah.
all over, all over the United States for things like that. So they're out there, and of course I've got copies of all of them. So, I suppose if you contacted me, I love that one up in the corner of the smashed face.
Yeah, no, that's woo!
Wow.
That's intense.
Well, okay.
Now, is that a real that looks like a real person wearing that.
It is a real person, and what's really great about our contract is I get last say on all angles and shots.
Good for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Good
Well,
for
it's,
you.
it's your work.
Right.
You should.
And so if you were to look at this from the side, this particular prosthetic sticks way out.
Oh.
So,
So
you could tell, yeah,
if
because
you-
it looks like it's deep in there.
Right. If you shot it from the side, it looks weird because she sticks
Yeah.
way out here.
Yeah.
So if the angle's right, that she was actually just chilling on the couch in that particular point.
So
but-
2D
Chilling
is
on
your
the couch.
friend. Is what you're
right,
saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't remember if an axe had split her right down the middle, and it was fun to kind of offset her teeth. And
Yeah.
Linda's face right now is great.
there's some
Yeah.
chunks and things going on.
And
in
you
there.
my
thought
God,
you
that's
thought Game of
awesome.
Thrones was bad, Linda.
All right.
You don't
So-
even
Sorry.
know.
That's okay.
It's like looking at pictures of my babies.
I know.
Ah.
All right. So, what's the best place to find what you're working on your social media? Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at your Instagram right now. What's that?
It's long. It is Wetworks. It's all one big long word.
Well,
It's
we can put it up
Wetworks-
on the screen. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wetworks SFX Studios.
Okay.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wetworks SFX Studios.
Mhm.
So
It's up on the
that-
screen now.
And I don't know why we post as much as we do on Instagram. I think just because it's more narrowed down to just that, where I think
Yeah.
on Facebook you get so many things going
Yeah.
on.
It's
That,
a very visual art. Thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
so I don't even know if that's the right reason or why we do that, but we do a lot more here. If you go to our Facebook page, which I think is the exact same thing, Wetworks SFX Studios, you still see a lot of the same images, but there may be some that you don't get, and I think there might not be as many videos on there as well. But
All right. So yeah, find them on Wetworks XS Studio.
You are cut off, sir.
Studio.
Sir, you are cut off.
Sean, you're cut off.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what, Bill? No. Just why? Why you gotta be like that, Bill?
So,
If I had an axe right
you-
now.
as you bring up your last, to start the show off, you brought your inspiration of Halloween. What do you look forward to here in Omaha? Like, what do you think is who does Halloween really good here in Omaha? Either haunted houses, or who should we bring, highlight that we should check out for Halloween this season here in
all right,
Omaha Council Bluffs?
I've checked them all out.
Yeah.
And the one I find myself going to the most, if you want a family experience, it is, oh gosh, what is it? I just said that. It's off Giles and...
Oh, yeah, it's way out
Mystery
there.
Manor.
No.
No, it's if off Giles,
Scary
the
Acres.
Scary
Scary
Acres.
Acres, yeah.
That's super fun for your family. I love
Yeah.
taking my kids there, my
I love the
grandkids when
big
they come.
bonfires, and they got multiple attractions.
You can have s'mores and that stuff.
Yeah.
But really the one I find myself
Alright, yeah.
going to, if I want to be scared or I'm taking somebody I want to be scared,
Yeah.
it is the one at Mangelson's.
Oh, really?
Shadow's Edge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one seems to be the one I go to the most.
Really? Because,
So-
I drive by that one, but it's just something about it
Being in the
constructed
Mangelsons?
in a parking
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah, I
know,
I
I
went
just
there
think
once,
of it
like
as a
4
quality
years
thing.
ago, and it
no,
was
I
good.
get it. I totally
Yeah.
agree. I know
But-
what you're saying.
But it's
you drive
good.
in and
It's really good.
Scary
Yeah.
Acres.
You forget you're in a parking lot at Mangelson's,
Really?
the art store.
Is that out by like 120th and Giles?
It is 84th and the interstate.
There's actually a gravel road, isn't there, at that
By La
point?
Casa out
It's-
there.
Oh, wait a minute. Which one we go back to? I thought we were talking about Shadow's Edge again.
No,
At Mangelson's.
there's the Mangelsons, but then there's the Scary Acres.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Scary
that's-
Yeah,
Acres
there's a
is...
dirt road to that one. You're right.
Yeah,
Way out on
Yeah.
Giles, yeah.
very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think a good maybe ending question would be, what is like for everyone is just what is your absolute favorite horror movie?
Oh, God, how dare you.
You should
Make
not-
me
know,
last.
just
right?
No, make me last. Go ahead.
I'm going to say Alien.
Alien?
Yeah.
I mean that's a
Because
classic.
it kind of checks all my boxes. Because it's a like, classic Alien. It's science fiction. It's out in space. It's on a ship, and you're just kind of really you've got nowhere to run to.
Right.
in
you can't-
space.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere to run to, right? You're on a ship. You're trapped.
Well, in
And
space,
so what
no
are you
one
gonna do?
no one can hear you scream.
Mm.
Isn't that the tagline for that one?
Yes. Yeah. No, I
yes.
think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to change gears real quick, are you watching? Is it called Another Life? on
Yes, I
Netflix?
watched that with Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Who doesn't love Katie
I
Sackhoff?
didn't. I like Katie
It's-
Sackhoff,
I
and
like
she's
her a
very
lot.
good in it.
Mm-hmm.
But It just didn't strike me as being
Yeah.
plausible because the whole plot of it is they send this ship off to this faraway star to find this. Have you seen it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, watch the whole thing.
Yeah, and I just didn't think the way the crew behaved. It just seemed too
They
juvenile.
were just
for
pumped.
people
Yeah.
that were supposed to be going
The best
you know,
of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to save
Yeah.
humanity, right?
Yeah.
And
They
it
were
was just
whiny
such
brats.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go off topic. It
No.
made
No,
me think of that when you said it.
Yeah.
Right.
You
I'm
gave
trying to
us
make
an
your podcast
opportunity
more
to
fun.
complain. We like to complain, so
Yeah.
please let us.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Thank
So
you.
Seth.
Okay, so I think my favorite, the one that really gets to me, is a movie called Hush,
Ooh.
and it is about a deaf woman
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
who is
Yeah.
it's about a deaf woman who has a serial killer after her. And like so much of the movie, she doesn't know that the serial killer is there because he figures out that she can't hear him. And so you've got a lot of scenes of him just like screwing with her. And like I said, what really gets me is the home invasion thing.
Yeah.
And so that was just like high stress. It's what I think of when I think of horror movies. It's just
Right.
like something that just like sets me on edge. And yeah, that's mine. I think you can find it on Netflix.
That's
or
one
Probably
thing that
on
makes me
Netflix.
where we
sad
watch
I think
about
that's
the
where I saw
home
it.
invasion thing is now so many people don't have home phones anymore. You can't have the killer in the house calling you from within
Oh,
the
yeah.
house.
From upstairs.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that the one? I think
Oh,
it
I don't
is.
know.
I think Black Christmas was the original. Get out of the house. The killer is
Yeah.
calling you from inside the house
Right.
You
or
trace
something.
the
like
call and it's coming
Yeah.
from inside the house.
Yeah,
I think that's the line.
That's
I'm
a
pretty
classic.
sure the Black Christmas is the original one of that.
Huh.
All right, so
Right, Jenna?
Oh God,
we were
how
supposed
dare
to
you?
save her for last.
No.
Oh,
We've
But
still got a couple people
it
left.
may be cheating. Tales from the Crypt,
okay.
The movies or the series?
the series.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the series. I mean, the movies were fun, like Bordello Blood,
Mhm. Super fun, that one.
and Demon Knight.
Demon Knight's good too.
Yeah, with William Hurt and what's his face? Who was in?
Zane.
Yeah,
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. He did a very good
He was
demon.
great in that movie.
He was really well done. But just Tales from the Crypt. It was all these amazing stories, and the fact I love the comic series because Stephen King used to contribute so much to
Oh,
those.
that's neat.
Yeah, a Crypt Keeper or whatever it was, whatever the comic
Yeah, the
series
Crypt-
was. Yeah, Stephen King used to. That was one of his early breaks, was contributing to that,
Huh.
and that's why when they did the, I forget what movie it was, the like specific name, he ended up in it as one of the actors. It was The Sad Death of somebody is the name.
Probably an author.
And what happened to him was he was like a farmer who like a alien thing, and then
Creep Show with the.
yes, the
Yeah,
Creep
sure.
Show,
Yeah.
because the Creep Show used to be a comic series.
Yep.
The Sad Death of whoever, and like this vine thing ended up killing him to death. Like, well, obviously to death. Shut up! I am slightly.
Oh, shut up.
We're killing him to death. That's the episode.
I am slightly under the influence.
Yes, we've had three,
but,
but that's the
like-
best.
Yeah.
Killing him to death.
But yeah, no, that was I love the root of all of that.
Right. Tales from the Dark Side?
No, I think that was Creepshow that they
No,
did
but
the.
did you watch?
Oh yeah.
That was my jam.
Oh, Tales
I think
from
I
the
could
Dark.
probably still
Yeah.
recite
No, that
the beginning
clown,
too.
the clown of the dude who was screwing the other dude's wife, and the puppet came to life and
Wait-
was
wait a
like,
minute.
"What's
Yeah.
up, dude?"
Wait.
That's like,
Rewind.
that's like something out
The
of Tropic
clown
Thunder.
of the dude who was screwing the other dude's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sentence makes no sense.
No.
Was
Okay.
it like a puppet clown?
No, it's
No,
it's
so
like
there was
Tropic
this-
Thunder.
there
I'm
was-
a dude playing another dude.
No, there was this clown puppet that ends up getting
did.
possessed by a guy who was murdered by a mafioso, and the guy who was murdered by the mafioso had been screwing the other dude's wife, and like. No, it was a total intense thing, and he's like, "Gah, gah, gah," as the clown puppet. You're like, ah! Okay.
I didn't have time to write Pinocchio, so it's like Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't see
so
my little-
everyone watching the video right
much
now,
did you bet?
this is directed right at John.
Oh, but
Because
the
it's
clear-
after
Right,
dark
John.
the
episode.
clear rating, man. The clear rating.
It's
like,
gone.
come
It was
on, man.
fun.
It's
It was
gone. No one
fun.
believes this is
We'll
water
save
anymore.
We'll save Benito for last. John, horror movie?
Well, I was gonna say Aliens because
No, because that's a fun one.
Well-
That's so fun.
Well, no, Aliens is like Alien with personality. I felt that the crew of Alien was a little lacking. It was the way it was shot, but
Nostromo.
But
but
who
it
doesn't
really-
love what's his face Bean?
Sean Bean.
No, he was the actor who played Hicks in Alien.
oh yeah, no, I love him. Yeah.
No, he's amazing. Like anything he does, from Terminator
Yeah.
to fucking Tombstone,
Yeah.
he's amazing.
Well, he takes you there. Wherever
Yeah,
there is, he
I
takes
love
you there.
him.
Yeah, but it's like I decided on Get Out because I really like what Jordan Peele's doing these days, and it's like Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? The Down Below or
Us?
Us.
No, Get Out, the first one.
Yeah, Get
Yeah.
Out was the first
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
like-
the down. You mean where he went into?
Yeah,
the,
where she
Yeah.
just like knocked him into. That was the Down
Yeah.
Below, wasn't it? Or was
Right.
it-
But
yeah,
Us
but-
is in the same universe.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, no,
Really?
he confirmed that Us
Yeah.
is in the same
He's
universe
he's
as
making
Get
his
Out.
own
That's
horror cinematic
interesting.
universe.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Single-handedly.
clever.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Jordan
it's
Peele
like-
is so
that-
good.
I
that
love
was
him.
Just the whole idea of being paralyzed in your own body while your body
Yeah,
does
that's pretty
whatever it wants to do.
horrifying. Yeah.
Nah, only don't want to play that. You know, it's like I don't want anything to do with that.
That's
No.
great.
All right, so aliens for you.
No,
All right.
no.
You said aliens.
Out.
It was Get Out.
Oh, Get Out. Gotcha.
Yeah, Pinocchio, get it right.
All right, Benito.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. It is Day of the Dead,
Okay.
Yeah.
1984, I believe. And it,
The year I was born.
Yeah. None of this would be a reality if it hadn't been for that movie.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, not at all.
Alright.
So it's put me where I am today.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
And I still try to pull effects from that movie and reuse them. I learned a lot from that.
You ever
Well-
do a homage to it in any way?
Everything I
A
imagine is
lot
an
of
homage.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
so many things in that movie that we've borrowed.
Nice.
So
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
for
you
being
so
on
much.
this
It's fun.
It was
Thanks
been
for having me on it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah, it was
it.
great.
let me brag a little and talk.
Yeah. So, well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time when we'll have some more exciting stuff going on. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll figure it out.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, I do know what it is. House of Conundrum.
Yes, we are
Ooh,
going to
yes.
do an escape room that is
Oh,
Star
fun.
Trek theme.
We are gonna
Yes.
fail an escape room that is Star Trek themed.
Can I be Kana in the escape room?
No, because I don't want you to kill me specifically.
You'd be a Klingon with a battle.
It's my D&D character.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you guys
Oh,
do
yeah.
a D&D show. All right.
Yeah,
I'd love to talk.
he doesn't want anyone to play with.
Which was
So-
Okay.
last minute.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell us about you that you're doing, like Go RPG?
Go RPG is huge. Do we want to do that tied in with
Yes,
this?
tied in because it's you and it's
so
your
different
baby.
than that.
I mean, we could do a whole role-playing game episode later if you're into Go
He's
RPG.
already shooting to be a two-parter. It's like,
might
I
be.
mean, really.
Linda's like, I'm tired of your shit.
Coming
Just
up with
finish up.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Just, yeah.
so we know it's out there, and we can maybe do this
I'll
again.
put it really quick.
Yeah.
I'll make it really quick. So
Yeah.
Go RPGs is just I got back into Dungeons and Dragons just this year. And the last time I played I was 16.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do the math, I started 33 years ago. And I had missed it.
Yeah.
And I had some friends. Oh, I have a friend or a couple friends. I contacted my two friends.
Bragging about
My
all
two
those
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put the word out. I said, hey, I think I'm going to put a game together. Does
Mm-hmm.
anybody want to play? And
Everybody
everybody wanted to
jumped.
play.
Yeah.
We had 10 people
Right.
in our first group,
Ooh.
which was way
Nice.
too many. I knew
Yeah.
they'd weed themselves out. And but yeah, we just jumped in with both feet. We built a beautiful game room, and
Nice.
we started televising games. and
Yeah.
we've been
Oh,
going-
really?
Yeah, that's exactly
Sweet.
how Bill would start D&D too. Except he'd build all the game rooms, set up the cameras
That's
before
what-
we rolled our
exactly
first
what we
dice.
did.
Yeah.
We bought
That's
mics and we
That's
bought
the way to
cameras.
do it.
And
That's the
we're
way to do
on.
it.
We're,
Oh, did you?
all of our
did
games
you,
are
did
on.
you
We
Will
do.
Wheaton this thing up? Get all Volcana and just like make videos of all this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
We put sound systems in the table so the table vibrates when you're playing.
Oh.
Whoa!
It's like if we're gonna do this,
Nice.
we're not doing the little grids.
No,
and,
that
and
is awesome.
we went completely over the top. So then we got picked up to do live games at conventions. So we come in and we play in front of an audience, and
Very
so it's been
cool.
it grew so fast. In just
Yeah.
a few months, we
Wow.
exploded, and So yeah, maybe another show.
So are your
sometime.
games
well,
on
super
YouTube
fun.
Or,
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really quick, where can we
Nice.
find that? Because
Yeah.
I love watching
Yeah.
D&D podcasts
We have
and
a
D&D
show.
videos.
We have a show that's called D&D Just for Laughs.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more loose base, you know, instead of only getting to move 6 squares,
Yeah.
if you need to get somewhere and it's 15 squares, you just go 15 squares and you have your encounter.
Right.
We still follow mostly the rules for the most part,
Yeah.
but I mean enough to keep the people who do enjoy following the rules entertained. And then
Sure.
the adventures are just, we just go off on these weird, and our dungeon master is, he does some improv stuff. So he's got great voices and he comes up with just these crazy scenarios. Trying to think how to get you there YouTube wise. I'd have to look it up.
Do it.
I
Look
think
it
you.
up.
I think you can go. I think you can do Go RPGs. Let me look.
I can look here too.
This show's gonna be 5 hours long.
If I can find it, we can put it.
I would love to have you in to talk about D&D and role-playing games sometime.
Because Seth is actually my game master.
Oh, cool.
He's my dungeon master.
Nice.
Yep, we're
Yeah.
playing Pathfinder.
I'm a
Yeah,
ter-
cool.
I'm a basically female version of Deadpool and
Yeah.
shifting.
Fun. I'm running my clan through Curse of Strahd right now.
Oh, fun.
But we didn't do the whole module where you start at level 1 and you finish at level 9. We did basically they show up in Barovia and make their way to the castle.
Okay.
So these guys I don't want to.
Yep,
I wanted to play one campaign for
Andy, you want
97.
to pull that up? Is that it?
Yeah.
I am taking them through a module right now, but I'm letting them kind of heavily customize it as they go through.
Yeah.
And it's
We had one character fucked his way through victory for us. It was great.
The
It was
legend.
great.
I call it the legend of the monk who fucks.
Oh, that's great. That's funny.
Because, like, he should have been killed by this character, but he just... And it was good. It was good.
I like my
He rolled really well that night.
What do you have to roll to get that?
I will
The
tell
best roll.
I will tell the story on the podcast sometime, but we're probably running a little long. Suffice to say,
Probably.
We're
So if
looking
I-
at that in the back window, man. It's
So-
like we're way past.
suffice to
past
say
all
that I
so-
think, like, as a dungeon master, my kind of core policy is I try and tell my character, or I try and figure out ways that I can say yes to my players.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's fun for sure. And we have a Facebook page. It's the same thing. It's Go RPGs
All right.
and whatnot. We're getting ready to start a thing called Arena. Never mind. I'll talk about it later. Maybe we'll do
Yes,
another
we'll
show.
have you
We're
back.
gonna
Sorry, I could
Yeah,
just keep
no,
going.
no,
I
it's
will
okay.
definitely
Have
have
you
you
back.
It's been a great show. We appreciate having you on.
Yeah, thank you for
thank you
letting
so
me come
much
on.
for having me.
It's been
Yeah.
a blast.
Yeah. So,
All
all
right.
right. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. We'll have the exciting adventure at House of Conundrum to talk about. So,
Yep.
Are you gonna cosplay that one or
nope.
no?
I'm going to be there with a lot of equipment. So
Me neither. I'm not cosplaying it either, surprisingly
I might
enough.
bring my batleth for Jenna, so in case somebody makes a
Just
false...
as my cuddle buddy.
She's
Yes.
gonna kill me.
You're gonna at least,
No,
will you at
I
least
love
wear
you,
that
Seth.
yellow.
You'll
Yeah,
be there as
I'll
Kana
wear
and
that,
you'll
yeah.
kill me.
or my blue science
Yeah.
Star Trek shirt,
Yeah.
maybe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.